Ta-ta! Proudly presenting my Microtronic second generation, fully assembled and working. In this video I'm going to show you how to transfer data from and to a real Microtronic here on the right. I'm showing you how to make the right connections. I've shown this in previous videos with a prototype, but now we finally got the Microtronic second generation up and running. So Frank from Belgium, who's the designer of the PCB and the electronics, and Manfred from Germany, who designed all these nice 3D printed parts, sent me the essential parts to actually build this, and it took like 3 or 4 months basically. I think they sent this end of October last year, so finally I got this January last week, so it took like 3 months. Well, I guess that's due to COVID and the pandemic, of course, but it arrived. Happy for that. And yeah, so I assembled it. I needed to 3D print the parts, and so mechanical assembly is not easy and it takes a while. So electronics component soldering is not too difficult. One difficult thing with the build is that you need to connect the keyboard unit through a ribbon cable, which has very fine wire spacing to the CPU PCB, and that's kind of almost SMD soldering. You need a very fine tip. It's not easy, but it's doable, and it's totally worth the effort. So great project, great job, Frank and Manfred. Really happy about that and that it is working, and of course it's using my firmware. So, and I had demonstrated the 2095 emulation previously, right? So now let's see what it takes in order to use this as a cassette interface for a real Microtronic. So the connections you need to make is input 1 and input 3. Input 1 and input 3 go to the outputs of the real Microtronic, which we have here. Output 1 and output 3, right? You also need to connect the ground wire, which goes to the ground wire here, right, or the other one. There are 2 ground outputs. And then of course we have the 4 outputs, 01 to 04, and they of course connect to the 4 inputs of the Microtronic. And that's all that's needed in order to use it as a file interface, right? So let's see how I can set up the camera like this. The first thing we are trying to do is, gonna find a better angle here, is try to send a program from the Microtronic second generation, right? So I'm clearing the memory here, and I'm using Halt PGM1, and there's a program on the SD card which I want to transmit, which is a simple counter. So let's first load it locally here into the emulator, the second generation, so you know what it does. It's just a classic example. So what it does is it just counts basically crazily, right? And that program we want to transfer to the real Microtronic. So let's clear the memory here. Well, you see it's empty, right? And we are now initiating the load function, Halt PGM1. And now we are going to send the program over using Halt PGM1 here as well. We select the counter program. There it is. Hit enter. Now we are saying yes to 2095 emulation. And now you see the LEDs start blinking here as the Microtronic second generation is sending the program over the wire. It's already done with that, so I can simply hit reset here now, and I can also hit reset here, and we should see that we have the program in memory now. And there you go, right? The crazy counter has been transmitted. Now in the other direction, from the Microtronic to the Microtronic second generation, let's make a little modification to the program. Rather than counting crazily, we are just making sure that all 6 digits are showing the same value. So I'm changing the program a little bit for that, and let me run it again so you see the change. Now it's of course the other classic demo program I've always been using in the previous videos, the classic 6-digit counter, and let's transfer this over the wire. To do so, I first arm the Microtronic 2nd generation Hoyt PGM2. So the SD file card browser, I'm selecting a file name here, I'm just calling it P now. And yes, I want 2095 emulation. So first we got to arm this here, Hoyt PGM2. And this is now ready to send the program. So as soon as I hit enter here, and the file is already on the SD card, I'm confirming the override. What you see is it is actually now sending the program over the wire, and the 2nd generation Microtronic receives it. We are already getting 000. It's a short program, that means it has been transmitted. I can stop the process with reset, and the Microtronic 2nd generation automatically stops the process as well. So let's now make sure that we received it correctly. So I'm reading it from SD card now. It has been stored under p.mic. Enter. This time we want to load it directly into the memory. And let's see if our changes made it. There it is, right? Alright. That's it. Thanks for watching.